that. And she swallowed it. That is a monster. Hi there everybody, Trevor Randles Outdoors Iowa here, and today I'm going to show you the best way to preserve your morel mushrooms by freezing them. So, I've already got them all halved, and so I got an egg wash. I do 3 or 4 eggs, and then I mix some milk in, almost like you're making scrambled eggs, and the morels are already halved. Throw them in the egg wash. Then I throw in flour, get them coated nicely and breaded. And there they are. I have a whole bunch ready already. But I'm going to go ahead and do a few here. I've still got quite a bit left to do. But into the egg. Do a little swashing around. Get your flour over here. And when you pull them out of the egg, let them drip a little bit so you don't get too much egg in the flour and gunk it all up. Into the flour. Bam. Now I use my other hand and I just get them nicely coated with flour. I try to make sure the inside of the morel doesn't get too much flour in it. If you end up eating a whole bunch of flour, you won't like it. Just floury taste. Get them nice and coated and evenly coated. And I'm putting them in the pile. Alright, so I've got a whole bunch of mushrooms coated. They're ready to fry. So we're going to go over, we're going to make sure that the pan's getting hot, and we're going to start melting some butter. So I like to use a cast iron pan, but it's not needed. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. And we're going to cook on a fairly low heat. And then now we'll drop a stick of butter in it. When the stick of butter's melted, we're ready to start adding mushrooms. Alright, so the butter's starting to heat up a little bit. It's a little early, but we're going to start adding our mushrooms. So while they're cooking, go ahead and add some salt. Don't go too heavy on the seasoning because you're going to be seasoning it more when you go to thaw it out and cook it. So what you're looking to do is you don't want a full cook on these mushrooms. You just want a partial cook. Basically, you're turning that flour just a little bit yellow. And make sure there's no dry flour left on the mushroom. If you end up browning them too much to where they're almost done, just finish them out and have a snack. That's some perfect color right there. You can see how it's just nice and yellow. Alright, so once you got both sides partially cooked, we're going to take, and I have a cookie sheet ready with some wax paper on it, and we're going to transfer them onto a cookie sheet in the wax paper. See how both sides are just partially cooked? I'm going to go on the wax paper. Make sure none of them are touching. That way when you freeze them, you can pull them apart and have them individually and not all bunched together. Alright, so we got them all transferred over to the cookie sheet. And now we're going to throw them in the freezer. We're going to let them get frozen. And while I'm cooking more, I'm going to be adding to it. So just get a bunch saved up. And what I usually do is I'll put them in gallon Ziploc baggies or a Tupperware container. And that way I can save up enough. And then I'll take and vacuum seal them at the end. And I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so I got a couple layers going. You can layer up the wax paper and do more than one layer for mushrooms. And these are going to go in the freezer for overnight, and we're going to get them to solidify basically, freeze them all the way through, and then we'll vacuum seal them later. So a vacuum sealer is very important to the rest part of this freezing the mushrooms. You can keep them without vacuum sealing them for up to 2 to 3 months. But if you vacuum seal them, I've had them last for over a year. And when you cook them, it's like they're picked that day, fresh, and tastes amazing. perfect texture and everything. So I like to freeze one pan full at a time. I already have some mushrooms that are already frozen. What I do with the vacuum seal bag is I do one layer, and you want to make sure you get as much air out as possible. And like I said, these things will keep for quite a while. The longest I've had them last, I've opened up my last bag at like 1.5 years, and it was still completely fresh. Alright, so there's one single layer. Now we're going to seal it, vacuum seal it. Make sure it gets a good seal. Now if you notice a bag that didn't seal, or it loses its seal over time in the freezer, make sure to cook those up right away. Alright. And right there is one pan full of frozen morel mushrooms. When you go to cook these mushrooms, keep them frozen. Start your pan, get the butter hot, melted, get them ready, and as soon as the butter's ready, pull them out of the freezer, slice them up right into the butter, straight frozen, and just brown them up like normal, like you're cooking them in mushroom season. Once you're done, enjoy them, and I'm telling you, it's the best way to freeze them, the best way to preserve them. I dehydrate some too, but I use those for other cooking purposes. This way, the only drawback is you have to have egg wash, floured, fried mushrooms. So that's the only way you're going to be able to eat these. But that's fine with me. I like them that way. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit. And if you give this a try, let me know. This might be posted a little bit late for our area for the mushrooms, but you can give this a try next year on mushroom season. And I hope you guys all enjoy it. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys later.